Jason Wilcox wants Angelo still at Manchester United. In this video, we'll be talking the latest on the midfielder from Stuttgart, the likelihood of him joining Manchester United in the summer, as well as giving you a latest update on the Manchester United news, an update on the new stadium as well. But I want to start off by talking about Angelo Stiller. This is coming from Fabrizio Romano, who again is very, very reliable, as we know. So Angelo Stiller has been on Manchester United's shortlist of players monitored for years. Jason Wilcox is understood to be one of the most influential figures around Europe who has monitored Stiller for more over recent years. So Manchester United is surely very attentive to him and his development. Stiller is one of the names on the list, but not the only one, as Carlos Baleba and more players are also being followed. So we know the midfield is obviously a position Manchester United want to strengthen in depth. Now again, it was reported a couple of days ago that Manchester United will not be going for a midfielder in January, and the most likely avenue happening would be a midfielder coming in the summer. Now, who that midfielder is, we still don't know. Obviously, we know last summer we tried to get Carlos Baleba. Obviously, nothing really materialised off that. Manchester United still are focused though on bringing in a midfielder. Now, Angelo Stiller is someone who again has been monitored. 24 years old, playing for Stuttgart, a very, very important player for them in that defensive midfield. He's more of a centre defensive midfielder, more similar to a Casemiro profile, and I think it's certainly an interesting conversation to have. I think Manchester United, for me, should go for a more experienced Premier League option rather than going for someone who don't have that Premier League experience. But again, there's obviously a lot of benefits of signing, or the main benefit of signing Angelo Stiller is the fact that he'd be cheaper. I think Wharton, they're going to want more than 80 million. Again, the price quoted for Baleba is between 100 to 115 million, and for Anderson is going to be 100 to 120 million that's being quoted. So if you're either looking to go for the more cheaper alternative option, obviously Angelo Stiller would be one of them. He's someone who is actually very key to Stuttgart. I was looking at the amount of minutes he's played for them, and he does start most of their game, and he is a regular in their team, which again is always something to look at. And I think again, looking at the midfielders that are out there, there ain't many on the market that for a decent price, and I think Angelo Stiller is certainly that one. Again, 24 years old, left-footed, 39 million market value for 8 of the matches in the Bundesliga. He started 6, and he has played a lot of minutes in the Bundesliga. If you look at the last 3 games, he played 28 minutes in the last game against Mainz, 90 minutes in the Europa League against Fenerbahce, 85 against Wolfsburg in the Europa League. Then in the league, 33 minutes against Heidenheim, 90 against Cologne, 90 against Celta Vigo, 19 against St. Pauli, 90 again against Basel. So he does play 90 minutes quite a bit, and I think he's someone who, again, is pretty reliable, which again is always important. Now for me, in terms of the midfielder that I would go for, you'll know it's Adam Wharton 1. Still, I probably would be Elliot Anderson 2, and now Carlos Baleba 3. I think Baleba's still a top player. I think, listen, all players have tricky months and tricky periods, and I think Baleba's just going through that right now. I think certainly looking at a midfielder is definitely a priority, and he's someone who is being pushed by Jason Wilcox, who again is part of that recruitment team at Manchester United. Him, Omar Barada will obviously look at Ruben Amorim, will get input as well as the main man being Jason Wilcox. The main man being obviously Christopher Vavel, who is head of scouting, and was someone who who did propose the idea of bringing in Benjamin Sesko. So there will obviously be players well suited, but Angelo Stiller is someone who Manchester United want, and I think he's definitely a key player to look at for the future. So yeah, that's the latest on that. He's someone who's being monitored by Manchester United. As we know, he's not the only player being monitored. There's other players being looked at. We talked about Elliot Anderson the other day. Wharton will still be monitored. Baleba, obviously someone else. Ayub Buadi as well, someone he's being scouted as well. So there are midfielders out there that United can go and sign. But yeah, I think he's a decent player, and he has got a lot of potential. A fee of around 44 million to 53 million is possible. So again, as I said, he would be a much cheaper option than a Baleba or a Wharton or a Anderson. So that's probably why United are considering him and are looking at him. But let me know your thoughts there. Jadon Sancho, again, there's been talks about him potentially returning to United in January. He will not return to United before the end of the season because his loan deal at Aston Villa does not have a break clause in January. And I think Jadon Sancho is an interesting player to talk about. I think, again, I watched Man City versus Villa. He came on in the 29th minute and just didn't have any part to play in the game, and then ended up getting subbed off in the 74th minute. I think the concern is with Sancho, he's gone on loan, and that looked like a very good loan move for him, but he just isn't playing any football for Villa at the moment. And again, going into sort of the next remaining months is going to be huge for him if he wants to get a potential move. Now, for me personally, I think his contract runs out in summer of 2026, so Manchester United could potentially give him another year so they do get some money for him when they do look to sell him. I think that's something that United are going to look to go for. But again, Sancho, I just don't think he has a future at United, which we've known for a while. And I think looking at clubs to sign him is going to be difficult, depending on how the loan goes again for Villa. If you look at how it happened with Rashford, he had a very good loan move at Villa, and that obviously helped him get the move to Barca. He was playing regular games for them, and it was just the reason he didn't go to Villa is because they couldn't afford to get him. So let's see what happens there. Lastly, Manchester United hope to move in their new stadium in time for the 2030-31 season. So in about 5-6 seasons, Manchester United intend to move into the new stadium. Obviously, I think there's been a delay on them starting the process for the new stadium as the Fosters and partners are working on another stadium. I did see that. Here. So it's an indication that the work on the £2 billion rebuild of Old Trafford won't be starting anytime soon. That the team officially mandated to oversee United's new stadium district project are now busy designing the San Siro. Fosters were in discussion with Birmingham City at one point about the new 60,000 capacity home, but felt their priorities were too focused elsewhere. So there could potentially be a delay on the new stadium. We know United intend to move there soon, but again, the build hasn't started yet. So let's see what does happen. And yeah, let me know your thoughts.